Welcome to Enjoying Everyday Life with New York Times bestselling author Joyce Meyer. On today's program, Joyce will be teaching from her series, Trust God and Do Good. The answer to everything is that simple. Trust God and do good. It's so freeing to believe God has everything under control, because that means we can spend less time worrying and more time trying to help others. Now, here's Joyce with today's teaching.
When God allowed me into fellowship with Him, man, I was such a mess, but I had potential. And you know what? You've got potential. But you also got some stuff that's got to be worked out. A lot of stuff. You're right, sister. Thank you. I was afraid to say that. And I tell you, God used people on me. God used Dave on me. And Dave would tell you, if I handed him the microphone, he would tell you that he felt like one of his main jobs in my life was to crucify my flesh. I'll just give you an example. Like I might be going through something really bad, and I would go to him, and honestly, he would look at me sometimes and say, I am not going to feel sorry for you. I mean, I went wild inside. Just, how could you be so mean? How could you be so uncaring? You just don't have any emotions. You don't care about anything. Come on, have I got any sisters out there? You know, everything for men is logic. Well, of course I love you. I wouldn't have married you if I wouldn't have loved you. Don't I bring home the paycheck? And you know, it took me about 30 years to admit it, but really, because here's what he would say. If I feel sorry for you, it's only going to keep you in the same spot. Can anybody feel my pain? Oh my gosh, I wanted to rip his head off. I mean, I just, oh. But see, it's true. I mean, our flesh wants pity. Oh. Oh. But no, God says, trust me and get out there and do some good. Oh, I mean, I could stand here and tell Dave stories all day, but you know. Does he
have a new car?
No, he hasn't had one in a little while, so. And then I had a neighbor that drove me crazy, and I had a friend that drove me crazy. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? And God was using them all on me like sandpaper because I had potential. But in the raw state I was in, I didn't belong here. This was God's destiny for me. You know, learning to trust God totally is a journey. So please don't leave today and say, well, I wish I could trust God. I really wish I could trust God. You know, the title of this series is Choosing to Trust God. And you may have to say 1,000 times when you have a problem, God, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. And here comes some worry. I trust you. And the devil says it's not going to work out. And you open your mouth and say it out loud, God, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. God, I trust you. If you can't help me, who can? God, I trust you. I trust you. And you know, you keep it up long enough, the devil's going to get tired of hearing it. And he'll go bug somebody else. You know, we began our journey, at least I did. I was in total fear. I mean, I was afraid of just about everything. And I think sometimes we have fear for so long we don't even know we've got it. And we learn how to function within our dysfunction. You know, some of you, and I'm not trying to be rude, but some of you are very dysfunctional. But you're functioning pretty well within your dysfunction. Here's an example. Maybe you are like really afraid that nobody's ever going to want you. So you have built up this tough exterior that says, I don't need you. That was me. I don't need anybody. Nobody's going to ever push me around again. I will take care of myself. But inside, I was like, I wanted somebody to love me. I was so afraid of being rejected that I isolated myself. I don't need anybody. But the truth was I just had all kinds of fears. And you know, one of the best things that Jesus can ever say to you is, if you continue in my word, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. I had to admit I was afraid. I had to face where I was at, and I had to let God into those painful places in my life. And I had to stop pretending like everything was okay when it wasn't okay. And I've been now on a 40-year journey in the Word, and I was born again when I was a kid, so you don't always get serious with God at the moment you're born again. But for 40 years, I've been studying God's Word and little by little learning how to apply it to my life. You know, it's not just you being here today that's going to change you. Every time you go to church, you should go determined to not only hear something, but make your mind up before you hear it that you're going to go home and apply it. Let me just ask a question. Has anybody heard anything today that you think would really help your life if you went home and applied it? We got a 100% success. Wow. And then we've got all these, I believe, millions of people watching around the world by television. What if all of us just went out into the world and said, okay, God, now I heard that. Now, by your grace, because you're not going to do it on your own, by your grace, with your help, I'm going to go home and I want to apply that to my life. How many of you have somebody that you could forgive? How about somebody that's hurt you that maybe you've heard they're really in need and you could help them? Uh-oh, that's a good one. Wow. See? Okay, I'm going to tell you this and I'm going to have to close. I thought about something with my dad yesterday that I've never thought of before, and actually it's probably going to work in better to maybe my message tonight, but I guess I'll just say it again. You know, so often things happen in our life and we just don't understand. It just seems so unfair, and it's like, come on, you tell me God is good. Well, what about this? You know, when I was a young kid and my father was abusing me sexually, I mean, I prayed for God to get me out of that situation. He didn't. He could have. God's God, he can do anything he wants to. But you know, there's evil in the world and there are evil people. And God says, I set before you life and death. I want you to choose life, but if you choose evil, you're going to reap the results of it. And while my father was reaping the results of his evil, sadly, I reaped some of it too. But the thing to always remember, especially if you've been hurt as a child, don't use what happened to you as a child as an excuse to have a bad life your whole life. Because here's the thing, the minute that you're able to make your own decisions, Come on, now listen. The minute you're able to make your own decisions, every right decision that you make overturns all the evil and wickedness that was done. To you. But now here's the thing that I saw yesterday. So it was almost like God just showed me something about that whole situation I've never seen before. My father, his father, was a mean Christian. Now, do you know what it does to people when they're raised by a mean Christian? Somebody who claims to be a Christian but who mistreats people? Have any of you ever met a mean Christian? Okay. Well, you just want to make sure you're not one. That's our goal. And my grandfather was a mean Christian. He was just mean. He was hateful. My mother told me, I think, that he would give money to the church and let his kids go barefoot all winter. And so my dad just turned against anything godly, anything religious. I don't want any part of that blankety, blankety, blank, blank. Well, why? Because what he saw was not real Christianity. And so he lived a total life of bitterness and hatred. And when you're bitter, you're going to take it out on somebody. And there was incest in his family, and so he just continued the thing from, it's really pretty much useless to hate people who hurt you, because most of them hurt you because somebody hurt them. Come on now, that's better than you're acting. And so I started out hating him, but ultimately I saw the things that I'm showing you this weekend, and they were dramatic. God's got your answer. Trust God and do good. Trust God with all that stuff that happened to you as a child, and get busy doing some good in your life and see what I'll do. So here's the thing that I saw. I'm going to get to it. Okay, years later, I'm really serving God. I've learned the word. I'm in ministry. Then we have that day when God says to me, when I'm praying and God showed up, take care of your parents until they die. And let me just throw in that they lived a long time. I mean, just saying. This wasn't like a few month thing. I mean, we ended up in nursing homes with nursing home bills and, long time. But 3 years after we bought my mom and dad that house and the car and furniture and sent somebody to cut the grass and sent somebody to get the groceries and, seemed like God added something else every week. Do you ever feel like that? Am I not good enough yet? Here's the thing. My father ended up being saved. We baptized him, and I know that he's in heaven now. But now, hang on. Here's the thing that I saw that I've never seen before. Maybe part of why God didn't deliver me then was because later on he wanted to use me to be the deliverer.
Find the joy of trusting God at all times in all things with today's resource offering, Unshakable Trust. Learn to let go of trying to figure everything out and let God be God. Contact us now to receive this hardcover book for your gift of any amount to the ministry. Order now at joycemeyer.org or call toll-free at 1-800-789-0089.
We all go through hard times, and it's so easy in those moments to focus on the problem. But what if you were able to see the trials of your life the way God sees them and respond to them the way He teaches us in His Word? Joyce Meyer wants to show you how in her new book, Blessed in the Mess. Even in the middle of life's difficulties, God's kindness shines through. Blessed in the Mess. Order your copy today at joycemeyer.org.
Thanks for listening to Enjoying Everyday Life. Joyce Meyer Ministries' mission is to share Christ and love people. Together, we can do so much more.